good to know.
Yeah.
Well, let's do Pilates.
Good idea.
Grab your mats, grab your water. I'm going to mute folks. Mute everyone. Okay. Feel free to play some music at your place. And we're going to start with our breath. Oh, some days it just hurts to sit down and stand up. Okay. This is why we need Pilates. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. I actually just made this yummy soup. And so what I would do is I would inhale through the nose to smell my soup. And then I would exhale and blow on my soup to cool it down because it's too hot to eat right now. And that's basically Pilates breathing. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Good. I'm actually going to add some movement in our body along with our breath. On the inhale, I'm going to reach up. See if I can help the lifting of my arms, lift my chest and lengthen my spine. On the exhale, I'm going to reach my arms forward and just draw my abs in, feeling separation of the shoulder blades. Inhale, lengthen. Now you don't have to lift your arms up. You can absolutely keep your arms forward and just lengthen through the top of your head. But in case you want to get a little more movement in your shoulders and body, feel free to lift those arms up as you lengthen and exhale, and then exhale to round down. So one more time. Inhale, length. Exhale, spine flexion. We're going to roll down. So on this exhale, create that nice C curve and roll down one vertebra at a time. And we're going to continue to smell our soup here. Inhale and exhale. There's a small space under your lower back right now. You can see that my hand partially disappears. That's my neutral. And then on the exhale, I'm going to imprint. So I can't slide my hand under anymore. That's when my lower back makes contact with the mat. Inhale through the nose. Come to neutral. Spine position. Tailbone on the floor. Exhale, imprint. Tailbone off the floor. Lower back on the mats. Inhale. So basically your lower back and your tailbone take turns being on the floor. In imprint, your tailbone is off the floor. Your lower back is on the floor. In neutral, your tailbone is on the floor. Your lower back is off. We're going to stay in imprint with the legs tabletop. Keeping the knees at 90 degrees. Exhale. Tap it out. Inhale, return. What you really want to be focusing on here is your imprints. Try not to lose it. As your leg lowers, reinforce the imprint by drawing your abdominals down towards the spine. Although I don't want your knees to be changing in degrees, so I don't want you to straighten the leg or bend it more, that's less important than the imprint. Now, if you find that you are straightening your legs or doing something with your legs and you're losing your imprints, then it's worth looking at what you're doing with your legs so that you can stay imprinted. But again, the most important part of this exercise is the imprint. One more time on each leg, and then both legs go down, exhale, and inhale. And once again, if you find that you're losing your imprint as your both legs lower, then truncate the movement. Go just halfway down. Or 3/4 way down. Last one. Good. From here, release your quads, your muscles here, and then your heels will drop towards your butts, and then we're going to roll up into our shoulder bridge. So we're looking at joints here, shoulders, hips, knees. Those are in the same alignment, or same line. Don't look at your butt. When we roll up into our shoulder bridge, it's not about the lowest part of our butt being in line with our shoulders and knees. It is about the hip bone. So this is the line. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, prepare. Exhale. Press through your feet. Reach those knees. Away. So we're focusing on articulation here too. So rolling up inch by inch, one vertebra at a time. And roll down. Good, ab prep. When we crunch up and lift the head, neck, and shoulder blades, you're going to feel a separation of the shoulder blades as you reach the fingers toward the toes. So allow that to happen. Exhale, nod the chin, look at the knees. Inhale, the lower. Exhale. You should be able to hear yourself exhale. It's kind of a forceful exhale through pursed lips. In our normal, day-to-day breathing, as we're sitting at our desk typing, obviously we're not breathing like this, and you're not making a lot of noise as you breathe. But Pilates breathing is very specific. You want to feel your abdominals work, and we want to use the breath to help engage those abs. So hence the louder breathing. Okay, going into hundreds. We're going to keep the head, neck, and shoulders up. Legs to tabletop, straight or on the diagonal. Your choice. All right, take your choice and pump. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 10. Inhale. Exhale. 20. Inhale. Exhale. 30. Inhale. Exhale. 40. Eye gaze on the knees. Exhale. 50. Keep reaching with the fingertips. Exhale. 60. Shoulder blades are trying to stay off the floor. And we're staying imprinted with the lower back. We're at 80. Inhale. Exhale. 90. Inhale. Exhale. All right, so this is just our warm-up. That was our abdominal warm-up, and now we're going to do our spine warm-up. That's an awkward flip. Sorry. So we have forearms on the floor. Lift the head and chest as one unit. So this kind of looks like your crunch, but, flipped over. But I know with the crunch, you lift your head first and then your shoulder blade. But when we're on our stomach, we don't want to lift the head first and then the chest. We want to lift the chest and head at the same time. Really keeping that neck in a non-hyperextended position. We really want it in a neutral position. I'm putting as little pressure into the forearms as possible. And you also have the option of reaching those arms toward the toes, in which case you can actually squeeze your shoulder blades together. So some of you might like this option more compared to the forearms on the floor option. But they're all variations and options to spine extension. So find what's challenging and doable for you. For now, I'm keeping the tops of the feet on the mat and just focusing on the spine muscles. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. One more time. Good. So go ahead and just push yourself up and round your spine into that stretch here. So I'm actively pretending like I'm rolling over a ball. I'm going to come into our plank. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Reach back with the heel and then the other heel. So when I'm looking, I can feel that my butt's in the air. And that's part of the goal of Pilates too, is increasing body awareness, knowing what our body position is without looking at it. So as I start to lower my butt, I can start to feel more and more of my abdominals. So more of my abs kick in, my glutes, my quads. And I can usually tell right about now that this is where I want my butt to be, about shoulder height, for maximal transverse abdominis recruitment. Now, it's not to say that if your butt's a little higher that you might not feel your transverse abdominis, but be aware that if your butt's too high, you might not feel it. Also, watch out, hope you're still breathing. Watch out that your hips aren't too low, because that puts pressure into the lower back. That I immediately felt. Still does, but I wouldn't want to go there. Let's take one more breath in and out. Good, and release. We're going to come into our half roll back. So, back to our seated position in the front half of our mats. We're going to start with basic arms But basic, I don't mean easy, just, sort of the original format. And then we're going to add variations to it. So when we do our half rollback, we want our shoulders down, relax away from the ears, and we are going to create spine flexion as we draw the abdominals in towards the spine and getting our lower back close to the mat. Exhale here. Inhale. You can come to a full straightening, right, or fully neutral, or you can keep a slight curve in the spine. Let's change some arm position. So here, as we roll back, there's already tension. I'm going to hold it right here. Now when I pull one arm back to about the plane of my body, not behind my body, but, close to the same plane, I increase the intensity. I lessen the intensity when I bring the arm back. And I lessen the intensity when I sit up. Exhale here. Take my other arm to the side. I'm not rotating. I'm just changing the position of one arm. It's a little asymmetrical, but it adds to the intensity felt in my abs, even though I haven't even changed the position of my spine. All right, come back. Again, really trying to stay in this exact same C curve. Really just swing the arm out to the side. Bring it back forward in front of the shoulders. And lengthen. Keep alternating the breath here. Exhale. Inhale. Reach to the side. Exhale. To the front. Inhale. We're going to do 2 more times. One on the right, one on the left. But if you'd like to do both arms for the last 2 times, feel free to join me. Exhale here. And inhale. Both arms to the side. There's a lot of intensity. Exhale. Back front. Inhale. One more time. If you did one arm to the front, then you're going to do your second arm now. Exhale here. Inhale. Now, you can go as far back as you want, but not past the plane of your body. So you can stop here. Make a return here. You don't have to go all the way to the side. Let's roll all the way down. You don't have to roll all the way to the side. All right, before we do our roll up, let's have our feet bent in our knee bent position, our typical supine position. I'm gonna straighten one leg, like we're, like it's like you dug your toe into some sand and you're pushing through a little bit of friction, and you scooped up the sand and you're gonna toss it in the air. Did we get that? So it's like you have to kind of imagine that there's some sand here, and you run your toes through it, and then you like flick the sand up and you flick it onto your own face, which is terrible. But this is the motion. The more you straighten out the leg, extend the hip, lift up, abs tight, pull towards your face, quads engaged, hamstring stretched. The more you can really engage those muscles, the more you'll feel your abs and legs. Good. One more. Okay, let's try the other side. I'm going to progress this. I'm just building it up. As I progress to other variations, if you want to stay and repeat this variation, go for it. I want you to find what's doable but challenging. And also, if you want, you can do it with your heel or foot flexed. So see, I reach out like this and I lift up. And what I feel is a much more intense stretch of the hamstring and calves. So don't underestimate that when your foot is flexed, how different it feels compared to when your foot is pointed. I know we do Pilates pointed often. All right, last one. I think that was the same number. I think that was 6 and 6. So then the next progression is the back leg is going to be in tabletop, and the front leg is going to scoop again. Inhale, bend, slide out, exhale, lift, bend, inhale. And try my hardest to stay imprinted and keep the tabletop leg still. One more time here. Okay. You can bring the front leg to tabletop and let's scoop with the back leg. So you can already feel that this is a little more challenging than the first version because you don't have the leg on the floor. It is in the air. Okay, last variation, gonna have the leg straight. Now, if this feels too much for you, you can bend the leg a little bit or go all the way to tabletop. You can also put your leg on it. So this is gonna kind of feel like scissors. I'm still doing that scoop and drag, so I'm dragging, scoop the sand, lift it up, getting range of motion in my hips. 2 more. Keep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, slide the foot up, exhale. Good. Other side, other side. Other leg, slides. Now, you might be thinking, is Pam going to do this with both legs? And while that is a possibility, the one thing that's really concerning when you do both legs and starting it from the ground is that it's really hard to have imprint throughout. Stop here. So don't do this with me, but it's really hard to do this motion, have your heel on the ground and be imprinted. That's because most of us have a butt. And then to lift both legs straight from the ground like that, that's really challenging to the lower back. So I would say that if you want to try both legs on this, I would not slide your legs on the ground. I'd press your hands here, and I would do an imaginary scoop at whatever height that you feel is challenging, but that you can maintain imprint. So I'm intentionally not putting my leg on the floor. I'm doing a imaginary scoop, maybe around 30 to 45 degrees. I bend, I scoop out. Okay, let's do 2 more. You don't have to do this, by the way. You can extend your legs and pull back in. All right, so let's give our abs a little break there. And come back forward. And now we're going to do our leg extension. Right leg or front leg, back leg, and then both legs. I'm actually going to do both legs twice in case you want to continue with the alternating right and left. In that case, we're all still on the same page. Back those hands on the forehead. You don't have to lift upper body and lower body at the same time, but if you'd like to, you will lift the single leg, chest and arms on the inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the chest and arms, other leg. Now we're going to lift both legs 2 times. We're going to go up, both legs, and down. Last time. And if you are going to continue with the right and left alternating, we are still together. We've all done 4 extensions. Lift just the front leg, just the back leg. Continue alternating or lift both legs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 1 more round of 4. Single. I call this the single, single, double. Single. And 2 legs. 2 legs. All right, sit back. I don't think I've ever done a single, single, double in Pilates. That's usually reserved for dance class. All right, I'm going to do a plank on my wrist now. If you don't want to do a plank on your wrist or can't, feel free to do a plank on your elbows and just hold on to that plank, okay? So if you're on your elbow, you can do a little bit of rocking like this, but on the wrist, I'm going to go into a knee bend, and it's if you're on your elbows, it's just a little difficult to pull a knee underneath your body. Here I'm going to once again be focused on body awareness, going from neutral spine, wrist underneath the shoulders, to flexion. So I want you to feel your spine go into flexion. As you exhale, no, just kidding. You're going to attempt to knee yourself in the nose. So drop your head. and look towards your knees. But you're probably not going to actually knee yourself. But in doing this motion, you'll feel spine flexion, and then I want you to feel spine extension back into neutral. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen. Eye gaze back on the floor between the thumbs. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, neutral. Okay, one chin on each side. Ideally, your shoulders staying right over the wrists. And hopefully, all right, come on down. Hopefully you felt your spine go from flexion to back to that neutral. Okay, now we're going to do the roll up. Do anything in a slightly different order today. So the roll up is great because it involves a hamstring stretch. So you can bend your knees slightly, reach down to the ceiling. If you get stuck, which you will if your knees are bent, just shoot your legs forward. I like to flex my foot here because it's a really nice hamstring and calf stretch. Then I can, if you can reach your toes, you can pull back on your toes. Helps to also get the stretch in the lower back. Inhale here and exhale. Roll down slowly, slowly. Remember your abs work on the way down as it does on the way up. If you want to keep your legs straight, then it looks like this. Inhale, exhale. Ideally, we want to roll up and roll down at the exact same pace. Now, it doesn't need to be timed, but if you do it with your breath, you're going to assume that your inhale and your exhale generally go at about the same pace. So now inhale again and exhale. Roughly, right? Like, give or take a second. So just because my legs are on the floor doesn't mean they aren't active. So I'm firing up my quads here. I'm reaching out through my heels. If you want to point your toes, reach out through the toes. But I have very active legs, very active feet, and they stay active the entire time that I'm doing the roll-up. Let's do one more here, and then we can all adjust our pants. I can already feel my pants are just sliding down. All right. Ugh. Okay, so hands adjusted, single leg stretch. I start with my head down just to point out that the entire ab series can be done with the head and shoulder blades down. However, usually for the obliques or the bicycle, we lift our head up so we can do the rotations. That's the one exception to the head down roll. So if you want to lift up, I am purposely, not purposely, I am intentionally demonstrating different leg angles, and I want you to pick the leg angle that you extend to find what's challenging and doable for you. All right, inhale, exhale. Inhale to switch the legs, exhale, reach it straight. Inhale, exhale. Now we're going to do the obliques. Don't overly rotate. It's just a little rotation, Both shoulder blades stay off the ground. Elbows stay wide. Inhale through midline, exhale to rotate. Inhale to midline, exhale, rotate. Exhale. Exhale. Okay, we're going to do two variations of double leg stretch. So here's double leg stretch that you're probably very familiar with. Legs to tabletop, extend on any diagonal you like. Head, neck, and shoulders, optional to be up. I think that when my head and shoulder blades are up, that my legs can go a little lower and I can still be imprinted. And part of the reason is because when you're flexed, it helps with the imprint, that curve. That curving up helps with the imprint. And when my head's down, it's actually a little more challenging to stay imprinted. My back wants to arch off the mat. So put it with both options. What I would avoid is doing the combination of the two, which is you lift here and then you go down here, and then you lift again. I would either stay up or I would stay down. Now I said we're going to do 2 variations, so here's the second variation. So come down with the head, open the knees. So let me just turn a little bit. Here we open, and then what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the inner thighs and quads at the same time to like zip it and straighten. Okay, open and close. All right. From here, inhale, prepare, exhale. Come up into what looks like the hundreds, if you recall from the beginning class. I'm going to circle the arms back, and you can choose how far back. Don't go too far back behind your ears. As I do that, though, my feet are going to go with me. So I'm going to pull back with my toes. I'm going to circle out with my toes, circle out with my arms, and then I'm going to return to this pointed hundreds position, and then I'm going to relax. And I have my knees open. Okay? So let me do it at a little more of an angle here. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, reach. Inhale, circle the feet and arms. You're back to the exhale. Inhale, come down. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale, big circle. Exhale to finish. Inhale, come back up. Okay. We're not done yet. We're going to do, let's do 2 more. We're just reorienting myself. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, reach. Where is the leg reach? Any diagonal you want. As you circle the arms, how far back do you go? You decide what's challenging for you. Exhale for hold. Inhale. Relax. All right, my knees are apart. Kind of hard to tell from this angle. Last one. Exhale, reach. Getting some ankle motion here. Okay. And by the way, as you roll your ankles like this, your knee will move out too. So you go from neutral to externally rotated back to neutral. So that's all, just some choreography, really. Okay, well, we got our scissors to do. Go ahead and reach one leg up and the other. Flex if you want, point if you want. Inhale to switch, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's let the legs go. Reach, reach, reach. Head and shoulders can be down. It's challenging in its own way when your head's down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So it always feels different when you're holding your leg and when you're not. So I like to do a combination of the two. Okay. Let's do some more turnout and ankle stuff. So if we take our knees out to the side, just enough so that you can actually put your heels together like this. Pretend there's a $100 bill or whatever's valuable that's flat there. Hold on to it. Squeeze your heels and then not squeeze. You don't want to open up your heels though, because you don't want to lose that. You don't want to drop it. Drop that bill. I am going to just relax my upper body for a moment and focus on the lower body. You don't need to keep looking at me. You can align your head with the spine, but we're going to exhale to squeeze the heel, squeeze the butts. Inhale to not squeeze. I know as you're looking at me, it looks like I'm doing no work, but that's because this is an isometric contraction. It's like the plank. You're squeezing a lot of muscles, but you're not moving. You're just holding it. All right? So I know it's not super obvious that my butt is contracting, but it is. One thing you want to avoid is as you contract and squeeze the heel that your butt doesn't come up like this. All right? You want to squeeze your butt and push your hips downward into the mat, but not to the point that it's uncomfortable. Just to the point that you know you've engaged your butt. Okay, we're going to do 4 more, and if you would like, nothing's going on with the upper body. It's just staying here. Hopefully you don't have a lot of tension in your neck and shoulders. The other option is to lift your knees, lift your quads. So this kind of works your butt a little bit more, drive your hips down more, but this is more work as you squeeze the heel and lift the knees or lift the thighs. You don't have to do it that way. We're just going to do 4 more. Any version. Exhale, Squeeze, inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Last two. And again, try to notice if there's a lot of tension going on in your shoulders. Like if you're squeezing your butt, why is your shoulder shrugging up toward your ears? Just try to pay attention to that. Last one. Go. All right. And by the way, it's not about how high you lift your knees off the ground. It's just about that contraction, right? Even if your knee or thighs lift half an inch off the ground, that's going to feel like a lot of work. So let's just stretch your spine here. All right, well, let's do some amazing sideline stuff. So not too much stuff. So your edge, the edge of your mat, use that as your guiding tool here. Your kickstand. Lift the top leg. Let's actually get some motion in our ankle joints. So I'm going to point to lift and we'll flex the lower. Really reach that heel out or that toe out so you feel very extended and lengthened through the body. Inhale, point, lift. Exhale, flex lower. That bottom leg, even though it's not absolutely doing anything, try to have some tension in that leg. And then abdominals are stabilizing. If you're not sure if your abdominals are participating, just lift your arm off the ground for a moment. Usually you shake a little bit and your abs just kind of wake up. Okay, let's hold the top leg at hip height. You can draw circles with your toe, or you can draw circles with your heel. Slow and small. 2 more. 6 in each direction. Really, the leg is mostly staying parallel. Reverse for 6. Inhale. 5. Exhale. 4. Really reach with the leg. 3. 2. Slow and small. 1. Good. I'm going to kick the leg forward. You're really going to need your hand for this one. If you find that the pressure doesn't feel good in the wrist, you can bend your knees, and that'll help act as a kickstand. So, see, I can almost get rid of my hand here. Don't bend your knees too much, though, because you might not feel anything in the abs. So bend just enough, or keep the leg straight. But no matter what, you're going to feel some pressure into the hand because we have a leg going forward. The outer thigh is still working because the leg is at parallel. And if you want, you can flex the foot to keep it flexed. Oh, there's a lot more calves being stretched there. Maybe one more. Okay. So from here, we're going to make a big, what I don't want to call it a circle because sometimes it doesn't look like a circle, but you want to kick forward like you just did, but then circle it up and around. And here, notice, I am externally rotating. I cannot lift my leg that high without external rotation. If I try to keep my kneecap facing forward, and I start to lift up, I can only lift this high, right? It's not as high. But if I allow my leg to externally rotate, I can go almost vertical. So notice that my kneecap is facing up, my heel comes down, my toes are apart, and then I bring it back into neutral. I bring my toe down. I kick it forward. Actually, I don't want you to go all the way to your foot. I did that wrong. You want to come to hip heights and then come to neutral. So your leg doesn't actually get to rest. Take the rest if you need, of course, always. Feel your leg go from that neutral to turn out, lower, back to neutral. So I'm not going into internal rotation where where I'm not need. Good. Let's do one more here. All right. Lift both legs. You can go as high as you want, but make sure the legs stay together. And based on that, the legs staying together, you can only go so high. Should feel a little bit of the obliques here. Let's just feel a little bit more on the obliques by adding an upper body lift. You don't have to put too much into your arms, but I'm kind of putting some pressure into that elbow. Feeling, the lats in this underarm area. But even just a little lift, along with the leg lift, will work the obliques a little more than before. I really don't need this kickstand hand. It's not helping with the lift. It helps with the balance though, so I don't fall on my face. Last one. Okay. Flip around. Align your body to the edge of the mats like we did before. Again, find your abs by lifting your arms, and then when inhale, point lift, exhale, flex low. Exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Either works. Make sure your hip is not hiking. This is a hip hike. Right, it's where your hip moves. We want our hip extended away from us. Okay, let's make those little circles. Go ahead and pick whether you're going to be pointed or flexed in the foot. Inhale for 1. Exhale for 2. Yes, I am doing this excruciatingly slow. 3. Exhale for 4. Take about 2 to 3 seconds for the inhale for 5. And the last one in this direction for 6. Reverse direction. Again, the slow, deep breath takes about 2 to 3 seconds. So each small circle, about the size of a ping pong ball, is going to take 2 to 3 seconds. One more here. 1,002, 1,000. Oh, we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to kick it forward. Oh. So part of the idea of really fatiguing this outer thigh muscle is that you keep the leg at hip height. Why is the first exercise so easy? It's because you got to lower the leg. You lifted it and then you lowered it. But now all the rest of this, we're keeping it at hip height. I'm pointing my toe, but maybe I'll flex for a few. Ugh. Don't forget you can bend the bottom leg. Ugh. That helps with your kickstand. So we're gonna make that circle. It's okay, it doesn't have to be an actual circle. It's almost like, it's not a circle actually, because you go out straight here, and then you do this like quarter circle, and then you drop down again. So I guess this is called a quadrant, a circular fourth of a pie. Ugh. Allow for the turnout. So neutral, kneecaps forward. As you don't have to turn out right away, but as you start to lift as high as you can, your leg will naturally go into external rotation. Keep those quads fired up, leg straight. It's like you're trying to reach the farthest you can reach while making this shape. Quadrant. Watch that the leg doesn't go behind your body, because then you're gonna fall back. Oh, like that. So keep it sort of in the forward part. Oh, those are great for sort of finding the range of motion of your hips too. Not letting my leg come lower than parallel, intentionally making it work. But if you need to rest the leg, just put the leg down on the other leg and then start your kick forward. Okay, let's do one more. As usual, let's count. Ugh. You'll notice my left is not as flexible as my right, so I have way more range of motion in my right hip. And it's just good to be aware of yourself and your asymmetries. Okay, so we're gonna lift both legs. So this is nice because the top leg is to just rest while the bottom leg does some work. The inner thigh and my bottom leg is doing work. It doesn't mean both my quads aren't active and legs aren't both still extending. Okay, so they're still working. And depending on how you lift, you start to feel a little bit in these obliques here. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Again, you can breathe however you like. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower, as long as you're breathing. And now I find it easier when my palms are down to lift, even though I'm actually not even pressing to my palm. For some reason, this feels really weird to me. I'm really putting pressure into my forearm and my elbow to help with the lift. Like I said, I'm not even putting pressure into my palm, but for some reason, I always turn my palms down. This feels like it makes sense. Okay, I'm trying very hard to not put pressure into my kickstand hand. I don't want to push into this hand. It's there more for a balance, so I don't fall on my face. Work is here, obliques, outer thighs. Maybe a little bit of this arm here. Okay, let's finish. One more. All right. Oh, onto your back for a quick stretch. So ankle over the other thigh. Pull both legs towards you. Stretching I'll switch here. We're stretching here, this glute. The glute of the top leg. So if you haven't switched yet, go ahead and switch. If you want to spend more time on one side, that's okay. You know what's tight. You know what needs tender, loving care. We're going to do the teaser next. And I'm going to do two sort of basic teasers, the roll up, roll down. And I'm going to add some variations. And you can choose any variation you like. So starting with our legs at tabletop. You reach the arms up just like the roll up. Inhale, exhale, extend those legs just enough so you can roll yourself up. All right, this is similar to when I straighten my legs on the roll up. You're going to extend your legs again on the roll down though, because this counterbalances and allows you to lower down slowly and in control. Try one more time. Inhale, arms, head, shoulders. Exhale, legs and abs. When I say abs, it's with your spine rolling up. Good. Inhale to inhale for the hold actually. And then exhale to extend the legs, open up, roll down. I'm going to add obliques. So I'm going to add sort of this like infinity symbol, figure eight. But basically what I'm doing, I'm taking both arms to one side and then to the other. So rolling up, inhale, exhale. I'm going to keep my knees there. So I'm going to inhale here, right? I'm going to exhale to rotate. So I'm going to bring both arms towards you and both knees away from you. And I'm going to inhale to midline and exhale, go to the other side. All while on my tailbone. Inhale back to center and then exhale, open up, roll down, and we are back down. All right, so if you want, you can make this sort of infinity sign of just like a figure eight and make it a little more flowy, or you can just rotate, center, rotate. Inhale, arms, head, forward, exhale. Inhale, hold. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, open, and down. If you want to skip the rotation part, do basic teasers. Inhale. Exhale. Want to try the leg straight? Rotate. Inhale, center. Rotate. Inhale, center. Exhale, roll down. Oh. If your legs are already straight, you don't have to straighten it again, and then just pull it in. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Rotates. Center. My legs go away from you as my arms go towards you. All right, so both limbs are working. It's not just the arms. It's not just the arms. Roll down. Okay. I'm not sweating before. I'm definitely sweating now. All right, so that's a lot of abs that we're tired of doing. Hopefully you felt that in your abs. It's a pretty intense exercise. We'll do that maybe again. I'm actually going to do sort of a push-up into a child's pose. So if you're not doing anything on your wrist, feel free to do some spine work. Okay, so do this for if you're not going to be on your wrist. But anyway, I want to do this exercise here where you're on your hands and knees. So your wrists are underneath your shoulders and using your hips. And you can start to round your spine and sit back like you're doing a stretch. Don't move your hands though, keep them where they are. Because we already set up our quadruped, right? And then we're going to come forward, feel your spine round into the neutral. So feel your spine go from curve to neutral, and then bend into your elbows, keep them close to your ribs into your push-up. Inhale down, exhale, push up, draw your abs in, sit back. Again, keep your hands where they are. Stretch. This breaks up the push-up. Also, just increasing body awareness from round spine, neutral spine, inhale, down, exhale, up, inhale, lean back, exhale, come flow forward, inhale, bend. Your neutral spine here, exhale, lift. See, I'm looking toward my belly button because my head is dropped when my spine is in. But when I come to neutral, in order to keep my head and neck aligned with my spine, I'm going to be looking at the floor now between my thumbs. I will do my push-up. And then it's kind of like I'm going into my cat pose. And then I go back. All right, let's do one more. So coming into your flat back. My head is aiming for the floor just ahead of my fingertips. Okay, so we'll finish here. Let's stay here for a little bit. All right, so just finish with a little bit of stretch here. So flex your foot. Take the opposite hand. Rotate. Dive for the outside of that foot. So we feel the stretch here and as we rotate through the spine. If you grab your ankle or your foot, the outside of your foot here, you can bend your elbows. Whatever you grab, you can grab your ankle, bend your elbow, and that deepens the stretch. I don't just feel it in my hamstring, I also feel it in my lower back, across my upper back, in my spine. Good, switch. That's my more flexible side. So that's my right leg. You could see that I could reach my toe. And now here's my left. Rotate. Reach. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm not going to get to my toe here. And that's just how we are. We're going to be asymmetrical in strength and flexibility from one side to the other. It's just not significant, right? Like I'm barely not able to reach my toe. So I'm talking about like an inch or two of difference. So I don't want you to be greatly disturbed if you are asymmetrical. But it's good to be aware of it so that you when you exercise or you do certain exercises, you're looking to try to either balance it out or like, probably not going to balance it out. So I'm going to focus on just strengthening each side as much as possible. Oh. Well, thanks for joining my final Pilates class of 2021. And I hope everyone has a great holiday season. And I will see you
it's your last.
on
Don't people leave
Thursdays
you?
in 2022.